You're halfway through a client pitch on Zoom, sharing your screen, when they say, "By the way, I Googled you. What happened in 2014?" You freeze. You have no idea what they're talking about. That night, you search your own name and find it. An ancient forum rant under your college nickname, cached, scraped, and sitting on page 2 of Google like a ghost you never invited. That's the digital footprint you can't erase, not because you're doomed, but because the internet is built to remember. Your digital footprint is every trace you leave when you use connected systems. That includes obvious stuff like posts, comments, videos, and profiles. It also includes much quieter things: server logs that record IP addresses and timestamps, app analytics, old backups, mailing lists, screenshots in someone else's phone, and messages that got forwarded without you knowing. Think of it in 2 layers. There's your public layer, which is the stuff anyone can see with a search bar or a link. Then there's your shadow layer, which lives in logs, backups, inboxes, export files, and third-party tools. You can't see most of that layer, but it absolutely exists, and it's where a lot of security and OSINT work comes from. Why can't you just erase it all and start over? Because the internet is copy-based, not move-based. Every time something travels from your device to a server, from one app to another, it can be copied. A platform might keep long-term logs for security or compliance. Backup systems create snapshots in case of outages or legal requests. Data brokers scrape and resell. Someone takes a screenshot, exports a CSV, or forwards an email. Even if the original disappears, traces live on. For security, that matters because attackers don't need everything. They just need enough fragments to assemble a picture. An old blog post with your hometown, a leaked marketing spreadsheet with your work email, a GitHub issue with your username, an old Wise record with your phone number. Each piece might feel small, but together they power targeted phishing, convincing impersonation, or doxing. For your reputation, it matters because search engines, review sites, and archives do not care about your character development arc. They see old and new content side by side. A messy footprint can mean clients seeing immature posts, conflicting job histories, or personal details you'd rather keep separate from your professional presence. So what do you do when you're living with a footprint you can't fully erase? The first move is to map it, not fight it. You cannot manage what you haven't seen. Open a private or incognito window and search like a stranger would. Start with your full name plus your city or profession. Add your brand name. Add the main usernames you use. Try your primary email handle. For example, firstname.lastname123 without the domain. Look through the first few pages of results and click deeper when something feels off. As you do this, keep a simple footprint log. Nothing fancy. A document or note where you paste links, take short notes, and mark the date. If you see something concerning, a doxing attempt, an old exposed doc, a misleading article, grab screenshots that show the page, the URL, and, if you can, the search query that surfaced it. This is your basic incident notebook. It's useful later if you need to talk to platforms or even authorities. While you're mapping, you'll notice different categories of traces. There are assets you control and like: your site, your LinkedIn, your main social profiles, your App Store listing. There are neutral mentions, conference agendas, business directories, interviews. There are outdated or embarrassing bits you posted in a different era, and there are true risk items: exposed personal info, breach dumps, doxing posts, impersonation, or malicious reviews. You won't be able to erase all of them, but you don't need to. You need to prioritize based on risk. High-risk items are those that combine 2 things. They reveal sensitive information and they're easy to find or exploit. Sensitive information means addresses, family details, identity documents, financial data, intimate content, or admin access to your business systems. Easy to find means they rank high in search, sit on popular platforms, or are being actively shared. For these, your plan is to contain, document, and secure. Contain means reducing exposure. If it's on a platform you control, an old blog, a public drive file, a GitHub repo, change the visibility or remove the specific content. If it's on someone else's site, consider contacting the owner with a calm, factual removal request, especially when it involves personal data or safety. Many people and smaller sites will cooperate when you explain the situation clearly. Document means you don't just hit delete and move on. You store screenshots and URLs in your footprint log, along with dates and what you did. If a problem resurfaces or escalates into harassment or extortion, that timeline becomes evidence. It also stops you feeling crazy later when you think, did I just imagine that? Secure means you treat the incident as a sign that some of your credentials or details may already be circulating. Change passwords, rotate API keys, update backup codes, and check for logins from unfamiliar locations. If you see suspicious activity in your email, domain accounts, or ad platforms around the same time as a footprint problem, capture that in your log as well. Medium risk items are things that are embarrassing or unhelpful but not dangerous. Old hot takes on Twitter, forum arguments, low-quality work samples, or photos that don't fit your current brand. These are more reputation than safety. Here, the strategy is usually remove what you easily can, then outgrow the rest. Delete or hide old posts on platforms where that's straightforward. Lock down old accounts you no longer use, or at least strip them of personal info. But accept that some caches and archives will linger, so you work on outweighing them. Consistent, updated, professional content on your main profiles and site. So when people search you, the first impression is current and deliberate. The reality is that for most people, your goal is not zero footprint, it's controlled footprint. You want the first few pages of search results to reflect the person and business you are now, not the random collection of traces you left at 19. Now let's talk about the shadow layer, the part you rarely see but attackers love, the logs and backups. Every platform you use, email providers, CRMs, ad platforms, payment processors, keep some form of logs. These include IP addresses, device information, times of access, and sometimes metadata about who you interacted with. Services keep backups of databases and files in case of outages or ransomware. Regulators may require certain records to be retained for years. You can't call them and say, erase everything about me forever, and expect that to happen instantly, if at all. Even when data protection laws exist, they often have carve-outs for security, legal, or compliance needs. So how does this shadow layer connect to your daily life? One way is through breaches. When a service you use gets hacked, the attackers don't just grab your password, they may grab logs, internal notes, and export files. That's how an old newsletter sign-up turns into a spam storm or targeted phishing. That's how a CRM leak exposes not only your contact details but your tags and notes. That's how "we never sold your data" still ends with your email in a million address list. Another way is through legal or forced disclosure. Court cases, regulatory investigations, or subpoenas can pull logs and backups into official records that later become searchable. That's beyond the scope of what most individuals can influence, but it's part of why you should treat non-public channels as still somewhat permanent. The practical response is not to shut down your life. It's to reduce the sensitivity of what ends up in these systems and to segment your identities. Reducing sensitivity means simple habits. Don't send identity documents or banking details in clear chat unless absolutely necessary. Use official upload portals where possible. Avoid dumping passwords or secrets into random notes apps. Be careful with giant email threads where everyone reply all's sensitive info. Assume most services log metadata about who talked to whom and when, even if they don't read the content. Segmenting identities means not tying everything to one address, one username, and one phone number. Have a work identity you use for clients, business tools, and public profiles. Have a more private identity for family and non-public chats. If you experiment in controversial or sensitive spaces, create an identity that is not trivially linked back to your legal name and keep that separation disciplined. The fewer bridges between compartments, the harder it is for one breach to collapse your whole life. For creators, founders, and freelancers, also pay attention to infrastructure footprints. These include domain registration records, app store listings, cloud dashboards, analytics accounts, newsletter platforms, and ad managers. Many of these leak fragments, your company address in Wise history, your personal email in an old app listing, your support inbox in a public help forum. Do a mini audit of your infrastructure. Log into your domain registrar and see what contact details are attached. Check old App Store or Marketplace listings for outdated emails or numbers. Look at public support forums where you or your team have posted under real names. If you can update those details to a generic role-based address or registered office instead of your personal info, that's a win. Now, what about when the unerasable footprint becomes an active threat? Doxing, targeted harassment, impersonation, or extortion. Again, the first step is calm documentation. Screenshots, URLs, timestamps, and context go into your incident log. If messages arrive by email, keep the headers. If it's happening on social platforms, note usernames, links, and any patterns. Do not argue with attackers or pay extortion. Do not send them more information in an attempt to prove something. The more you feed them, the more context they have. Instead, escalate to platforms that have actual power. Most major platforms and search engines have abuse or privacy reporting mechanisms. Use them. When you submit, be concise and factual. What content, why it's harmful, and how it relates to your personal data or safety. Your log becomes your reference, so you're not scrambling under stress. If the threat includes physical safety, kids, or clear criminal activity, contact local authorities. You don't have to deliver a perfect legal package. Your job is to present the facts you've collected. Laws differ by country, so this is not legal advice. It's a safety move. If your business involves clients or users whose data might be impacted, consider that there might be notification or contract obligations and talk to a professional. In parallel, shore up your accounts, change passwords, turn on multi-factor authentication where it's missing, check sign-in alerts and recent activity logs for suspicious access. If you manage shared accounts, like a brand Instagram or a YouTube channel, make sure you know exactly who has access and through which email. Let's also talk about the big mistakes people make with their digital footprint. One mistake is thinking, if I can't erase everything, there's no point doing anything. That leads to apathy, which is exactly what attackers love. You don't need perfection. You need enough friction and awareness that you are not the easiest target. Another mistake is the panic purge. People discover an old post, freak out, and delete half their public presence overnight. That can trigger more attention, break important links, and confuse clients or fans. A better approach is fix the worst items first, quietly clean the rest over time, and build a stronger, clearer current presence so that when people search, they see a coherent story. A third mistake is fighting public battles with trolls or bad faith actors. Long public arguments often become part of your search results and get quoted out of context. If someone is clearly not operating in good faith, block, report, and move on. Save your energy and detail for official channels and important relationships. The last mistake is trusting right-to-be-forgotten style tools as magic wands. Even where laws allow removal requests, they are not instant, not global, and not guaranteed. They rarely touch backups, private archives, or data brokers outside that jurisdiction. See them as one tool in the kit, not the whole strategy. You can know what's out there by running regular self-searches and keeping a simple log of anything concerning. You can reduce the most sensitive traces by cleaning old accounts, tightening privacy settings, and updating infrastructure details. You can shape what people see first by maintaining current, professional profiles and sites. You can respond to incidents methodically with documentation, platform reports, and security changes instead of panic. Most importantly, you can change how you move from today forward. Treat private messages like long-lived notes, not vanishing whispers. Think twice before tying every project to your personal email and full legal name. Make it normal in your team to keep a minimal incident notebook when something weird happens online.